Hello there. So I wanted to start a thing where I just kind of talk about what happened in the current D&D campaign that I'm playing through. And just kind of get it out there, maybe for both archival reasons on my part and for fun, for if anyone else wanted to listen about some of the going ons in a campaign. I obviously am not recording it, like live streaming it or anything. I'm just going to be talking about it after the fact. I know there are a few YouTube channels that do stuff along those lines. Um, yeah, I spoke about it a bit in the last video when I went out on a tangent about what's been going on, but we've been playing through the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I am a little kobold that goes by the name Snek, Snek, and they have a pet scorpion that goes by Snack, Snak. Um, and I have been definitely exuding gremlin energies, but the fun type of gremlin. Um, so I just wanted to, go over what happened today. I'm not gonna do a recap on literally everything that happened before now, but starting now, I want to go over, the going ons.
Ah, so, today we finished fighting off all the people on that ship. When we arrived, I was very concerned because there were more of them than there were of us, and that's never a good sign by any metric. So going into it, I was a bit worried, but this one magic cleric person, I think, they have some sort of fish god, blub, glub, whatever you call it. They summoned this weird sort of aura, full of fish and stuff, that just made everyone keep gaining health. Like, I never felt as good as when I was in that aura, and even my little goblin friend got hit like 10 times and didn't go down once. They just kind of stood through it with the help of all those like little fish things. What are the little ones with like they look more like a worm but with claws on the front? Whatever they're called. I don't know about marines? Fish? Would they be a fish? They did have tails. I don't know how underwater works. But basically, I lined up this sweet shot and got like 4 of them in this little concoction I had brewed up before. Just kind of shot it off and got it all over the captain, first mate, and it just started burning them. I'm a bit of an acid specialist. Don't quote me on that, because I'm not, but I like to say I am. So it did its job. I think that's what actually finished off the first mate. I wasn't paying much attention. I was too busy picking on the bowman. Someone called him a bowman. I don't know how ships work. It's wind, right? That's why there are sails? Yeah, I think that's how they work. But anyways, by the time we fought through the majority of the people, all that was left was 2 lizard folk and 1 crewmate that just gave up when they realized they were the only one. Things turned around very quickly in that fight. We've got a lot of healers. There's this one doc, I think their name was Raven, that we've got on our team. Really good at shooting people. Also really good with using herbs and medicine. I don't see people heal that way very often, but they're good at it. They helped me a bit during the fight when the little fish spirit things, were they spirits? Not sure. That's above my pay grade. When they weren't cutting it, they actually helped patch up some of my wounds and stuff. Let's see here. The lizard folk that were left, the 2 lizard folk, we realized were just, like, on the ship. They weren't actually part of the crew. They were actually in the middle of, like, this shady deal with the crew of the ship. The ship belonged to a bunch of smugglers. That's probably an important note. So we... Oh, that was a bump. So we, pretty much got rid of all of them, stopped the smuggling operation, but the two lizard folk that were left just wanted to finish a transaction they were in, so we're like, yeah, sure. We can honor that at least. You already paid and stuff, so we'll be getting that payment anyways. Then we stopped, went around the ship, investigating all of the new stuff we just got. Is it stealing if the person's dead? I wouldn't call it stealing. They're dead. Let's see here. Got a tour pretty much from that one crewmate that just kind of gave up. I think they said their name was, what was it? Names aren't important, especially from humans. But they showed us around. There were a bunch of quarters for the captain, first mate, bowman. There was another one, but I can't remember. I'm not a sailor. They all had some stuff in them. Nothing too fancy, but a lot of gold. Like more gold than me and my clan have ever really seen in one spot. I mean, I know we're a new clan, so you gotta start somewhere, but I had 10 solid bars of electrum, which I think that's a lot. Is electrum valuable? I feel like there's this really valuable type of metal, Is electrum that? It might be. Anyways, they were worth a fortune, and we can just kind of sell them. But, for reasons that I'll get to, I actually kept my bar of the share, and I'm going to be doing some stuff with it. As we were exploring more stuff, we found, there was pretty much a cabin set up for the lizard folk and stuff. They were regulars, so the crew quite literally made them their own, cabin for when they were on doing business and transactions and stuff. And in the back of it, we found out that the guy we ended up, there were 3 lizard folk to begin with, but one of them kind of got clobbered in the fray, so we don't really talk about that. We found that they actually left this poor little pet pseudo-dragon behind. So all of us, Goblin included, just pretty much fawned over the thing. Party pet? Yes. I was very excited and also very torn because soon I've been studying how to do some wizardy things. More magic than just me tinkering with stuff. And I realized that you can bind an animal to you to make it this familiar or something. So soon, I think I'm gonna figure out how to do that. Not sure when. I gotta get some time to myself. Right now, I'm focusing on taking care of this pseudo-dragon. Their name started with a B. I talked to them for a bit, and they were real nice. By nice, I mean they said their name, but they're really nice. You gotta believe me on that. And was it Bilbo? No, it wasn't Bilbo. It was B something. Real fun sounding name. I liked it. We gave them some gold for their hoard. 'Twas but a meager hoard behind a chest, but we greatly assisted in building it. Gave them some food. They didn't seem to mind that their previous owner died, but did we even tell them? I don't think that matters. They like us. Anyways, with that bar of electrum, that I kept aside, I decided that I'm going to tinker with it a bit. I've got a lot of knowledge about a lot of different tools and how to make stuff, and especially make stuff look good. So I decided that I'm gonna take that raw electrum and just try to model it into something fancy to give as a gift to our little friend. When there's a hoard, there's usually a crown jewel, the thing that everyone's eyes go to when you see the hoard. Right now, their hoard is a meager couple of gold pieces and a potion that I offered them. And that's not impressive. That's an honesty coming from me. So, as such, I've taken it upon myself to create a marvelous display. Something... What would they think is cool? I could just make a bed. You know, a bed is probably a good thing. I don't know how pseudo-dragons nest. I will have to check their nesting habits. Or maybe just ask them. I could ask them. That's a good question. Because I want to make something grand from this electrum that I'm saving and give it as a gift from them. A donation to be the crowning piece of their hoard. That'll take some time, though. Perhaps if they favor me. Anyways, I'm rambling on. As we're exploring more of the ship, we found below deck secret compartment in the captain's quarter that led to essentially a stockpile of weapons. That is what the lizard folk on board were buying. They were doing negotiations for that and had already paid. So we just kind of were like, that's where it is. Well, I guess we can give it to him now. But as we kept exploring around, checking for secret stuff, in the bowman's chamber, we found another secret door. It led to this little, really cramped cell room. Had a single hostage in there. They were crying and, was one of those elemental races. I know primordial, but I'm not versed in, the specifics. But we got that they were trying for help, so we were like, I guess that's suspicious. And went back there to see what was up. And there was apparently this sea elf. How many different types of elves are there? Sheesh. First you hear about the elves in the trees, you hear about the, really prestigious elves. Now there are sea elves. Next thing you know, they're gonna say that there's one for each season or something. There's probably more than that already. Anyways, we found some of their stuff. They're like, oh yeah, that's mine. Can you let me out of here, please? I'm starving and hungry. And we were like, yeah, here, have some food. You don't seem dangerous. Don't cross us or else. Told them about what was going on. They seemed really adamant that, their tribe or something, do they call it a tribe or a clan? Wherever they came from, was going to send help to rescue them. We were not that help, but we did rescue them, so same end goal. They're willing to help us for a bit, take us to where we need to go on the ship, and give us pointers for how to sail, until they get dropped off back at their group. So, we took them for that. Maybe, I don't know, some of the people were thinking of trying to ask them to stay and, just work here. Do we need to employ people for a ship? I think we have enough people just by ourselves to run it. I guess we'll see. I couldn't care one way or another. It's just another tall person that's gonna be lumbering around. Besides that, we told them about the lizard folk and all, and they were very adamant that we don't sell the lizard folk the weapons that they had already bought and were already there for them to buy. But they did give a pretty good explanation. The lizard folk were buying, enough weapons to supply a small army, and apparently lizard folk are warlike. And we found a map that said that they had an encampment just 5-10 miles outside of town. So, you connect a couple of dots. I didn't connect to them, but someone did it for me. I should be the one connecting those dots, though. And we figured, they are probably gonna attack Waterdeep. And that's not a good thing for business. You don't know why I'm here. Well...
Sorry, my voice is getting hoarse from this. I need to take a break.
Well, the reason I'm here is because my, tribe, we pretty much want to get really big. A lot bigger than most Cobalt
groups get. So, in order to facilitate that, I came up with the idea, all by myself, that we should try to start trading with people. We get a lot of gold and metals and stuff that people really like for some reason. So I figured if not having enough food or resources is an issue, then we can just take some of the gold and stuff we got and give it to another town nearby or something in exchange for food and whatever we need. And I think that will give us a lot more room to grow than we'd normally have.
Okay. Can't do the voice anymore. Apologies, that's a lot more in character voice than I normally do, and it's not exactly the best voice for the vocal cords. So just pretend I'm still doing it. I'll get better at it with time. I mean, voice acting's all about training and stuff. Anyways, so where were we? Oh yeah. So I was set out pretty much to be the one, since I came up with the idea, that's gotta find a spot that we can begin trading and like set up a forward base of operations and stuff. They're probably gonna have me be like the logistics too. I'm sure I could teach some of them what to do. But the current idea is that if I want to set up trading in Waterdeep, it's not exactly conducive to that if Waterdeep is in the middle of being raided by a bunch of lizard people. You know? Those two ideologies kind of conflict. So eventually I was persuaded to the side of don't let the lizard folk get the weapons, and more importantly, don't let them leave the boat so they can communicate what happened and start a raid. So we ended up sneaking up on the two lizard folk that were left, just kind of waiting for their weapons. And like, for a lot of people, this is a moral dilemma. We already agreed that we'd sell the lizard folk the stuff, and we've got them still on the ship because they're just waiting for that stuff. Like, they're here with all the peaceful intent. So should we just go through with what we already agreed with, and that outwardly doesn't seem to be anything illegal? Or should we nip this where it is, stop the lizard folk from arming themselves pretty much, and possibly make enemies in the process? And the whole party pretty much sided with nip it in the butt, end it here, don't let them leave. So we told them to come down to the lower deck, check, hey,
Is this stuff yours? It looks like it is, but we need you to check.
they went in a room, we locked the door behind them, just kind of took care of them, to put it in words. And now, on top of all of the other loot that we got from this, we also have hordes of weapons as stuff that we can add to the list of plundered material. Does that make us the pirates? If you plunder a pirate, are you yourself then a pirate? I mean, the goods are ill-gotten anyways.
And let's not dwell on that.
A lot of the times when I try to describe stuff, like before when I was describing the shrimpy stuff that was going around, like kind of healing people, I know exactly what it is. I'm just describing it as it is in game because I'm very much a role player, more so than just say what it was. Because I could have been like, oh yeah, they're a Twilight Domain cleric, so they use their ability that gives them an aura that gives people in range temporary hit points. That was really nice because it made it so that it was almost impossible for people to down us since we were at a low level. But that's not fun. It's a lot more fun to just describe things as the characters would see them, or more specifically, I'm trying to get better at the voice so I can describe it as Snek. I keep messing up my own name. Would see them. It just kind of makes the whole thing feel a bit more lively.
Okay, where was I? So yeah, we took care of them. And with the help of our sea elf friend, It was weird talking to him. I learned primordial. That's what it was. I thought it was going to be a lot more helpful when I got into the outside world. It wasn't. Might show its use eventually, but it did show its use actually. This weird sea elf thing apparently spoke some dialect of it, so I could understand it. We had a quick realization that no one in our group actually knows Elvish. I think that's like a major language. No one knows Dwarvish either, apparently. That one I at least have heard of. So there's a bit of a language barrier, but for some reason, like 3 of us just spoke Primordial, so that all worked out. So we talked with them, they agreed to help, we got rid of the lizard folk. So now we must figure out what we're gonna do with the goods. I was on the side of the party seems to agree, the group of us, we all seem to agree. We are going to leave some of the contraband on the ship and take all of the documentation that shows that these guys were smugglers and pirates and turn that in to the local authorities and say, hey, we just took out a whole smuggling operation that was taking place. We have proof of it, and we have proof that there's pretty much a lizard folk war party right here on the coast waiting to invade, and you should do something about that. We stopped them from getting weapons too, and we're gonna reap the rewards for that, whatever they decide it may be. We've got a ship because we took it from the pirates. We don't technically have a house, but we might be able to negotiate that. And we've got a lot of proof that we took out this whole operation. So I think that's a pretty good way to get in good with a town. And if they agree with everything, I might even be able to put my footnote in to get some trade routes going here. This town is a mining town, so I doubt they'd scoff at a great deal of raw ore and gems coming from my clan. I'll have to talk that through with the people that are with me and see what they think of that. But besides that, this was rather successful. We have got a new friend in the pseudo-dragon, the fearsome little bugger that they are. And we have considerably more wealth than we walked onto that ship with. So this smuggling operation was rather large. I said that we were going to put a good deal of the goods aside and just bring some of it up to the group because as sort of a first trade, real trade with my clan and stuff, we might partake in a little smuggling to get the smuggled goods to them and then have them pay us for it in good money so that we all have a lot of money. You know, that's a good thing all around. Really helps you get started. Especially if we have to pay, like, people to work a ship or something. How much do people ask for that? Probably a couple gold. I don't know. I'm no businessman. Oh, I am, but I guess I am a businessman. Oh well. I'll figure it out. Anyways, besides that, let's see here. Anything else eventful? Took care of the ship. No? So what are we gonna do moving forward? Right now, my sleep schedule is all messed up. I slept through the day the night before, getting ready to raid the ship, because we had to raid it in the middle of the night so they didn't see us coming and all that stuff, and also they were smugglers, so they do operations during the night, not the day. So the rest of the group didn't follow my plan of sleep in the day, wake up in the night so you're well rested for the raiding. They just powered through it. But that means that now they're all getting ready to go to sleep and I'm still wide awake. So I was going to take that time to to start developing my little electrum throne and to start studying some spell books I picked up. So I've got like 3 spell books from like these fancy wizard fellas on me, and I've been kind of looking into that magic stuff to see what comes of it. Because some of the stuff they say they can do in those books sound pretty useful for making like a home and protecting it, or setting up traps, which we are experts on. Also, the familiar thing I talked about earlier, that sounds really interesting. So, I'm going to be studying that for a while, as well as messing around with some new concoctions I've decided to brew up. I've been messing around with different things you can mix together to see what comes of it, and it sure has led to a few unexpected results. One of them made, one of my friends... Are they a friend? They're blue, they can't be an enemy. Made their already kind of scaly skin just kind of go a bit harder, which was cool. I've already made one that you can shake up, pop the cork, and it just spews acid out. That's a nice concoction, though I wouldn't want people to drink it. Food. I should probably eat, you know? There's a bunch of meat in that pantry. That's a good idea. I'll eat like half of it while everyone's asleep and see if they notice. Food for thought, as I'm gonna be thinking about stuff and working on other things. Oh, yes. There is this human with us. They are a sneaky fellow that likes running around the battlefield without actually attacking things. Really obnoxious, but I suppose it does a good job at distracting a bunch of people. They tried picking locks many times, but they all failed, so I enjoyed that I got to step in and show them up. You see, the first lock I tried to open that was locked on that ship, my first pin broke, pretty much. So they just kind of stepped in without saying a word and just opened it for me. Lo and behold, from then on, every single lock gives them issue, where I get to be the one that steps in front of them and does it for them. Vengeance is a dish best served cold. In this case, it was cold. It was nighttime. Anyways. So yeah, that's about how it's going. I am ready to make this majestic pseudo-dragon its throne. And if that doesn't take all night, then I shall study the books that I've got. It's always a solid investment of time, and perhaps tinker a bit with brewing some more things. I've got some ideas up my sleeves. Now I think I can make head and tail of a bunch of the maps they were using. That might give me ideas. Well, until next time. Tomorrow, pretty much. Yeah, tonight's gonna be boring. Anyways, that's about it. Nothing else interesting happened. Interesting stuff probably did happen, but I'm forgetful. I'm just a kobold. What can you do? Okay. So that's about how this session went. Can't wait till next week to figure out how we're going to resolve a lot of the stuff. The reason that I couldn't really describe too much that happened was because it was a big combat, and anyone that's played D&D knows that big combats take absolute ages. So we didn't get to do much else. We pretty much fought the people on the ship, got through them all, searched the whole ship, found out about the lizard folk conspiracy, took out the lizard folk, and helped the sea elf. And that was all we had time for overall. Looted a bunch of stuff, got a lot of just explicitly sellable goods, but we've also got a bunch of illicit goods that we're planning on trading through to
trading through under the table with my clan to get money out of that, because even though we're respectable, we're generally good people. Actually, no, we're generally bad people. But we're in it for the money for the most part. There are a couple of good people that started the argument of we should take out the lizard folk, which is... That's weird coming from the good people in the group. But overall, it's more neutral of a party dynamic. We aren't kind of committed one way or another. I'm good for anything as long as it helps my clan and stuff. Or helps us. That's about my rules for stuff. So yeah, not the most eventful night, but I can't wait to see how some of these stuff develop. Thanks for listening. Till next week or whenever I start a different campaign that I get to talk about besides this one. I am probably gonna maybe go back to gameplay stuff, and I'm definitely good with reading more of Making a Cat Cry. But it's gonna be a week, not a week, it's gonna be a bit. Because I'm still getting used to this whole recording stuff, and I need to download actual editing software on my new setup. Like, I'm on a completely different computer now, so I need to re-download stuff. I've had to completely reconfigure OBS, which is why the settings might not be perfect again. It might sound like I had to jump down in quality. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on that as time goes on, and we'll see where it goes. So until next time, when you get to hear more about what's going on, see if I actually manage to fully befriend the pseudo-dragon or not. I sure hope I do. Kobolds love dragons, and pseudo-dragons definitely count as dragons. Oh, they're a green pseudo-dragon, and I'm a green kobold. It was a match made in heaven. But I gotta work for it, you know. So anyways, see you next time.